Anyone who's got a dog knows that feeling, right? That deep, unconditional, and, let's be honest, sometimes totally overwhelming bond you share. It feels special, but have you ever stopped to wonder just how special it is, from a scientific point of view? Well, a recent study gives us some pretty fascinating and maybe even surprising answers. Let's dig in. Okay, so just for a second, really think about it. Why do you love your dog so much? Is it their loyalty, the fact they're always there for you, the way they absolutely lose their minds with joy when you walk in the door? It's a personal question, for sure, but it's one that researchers are now answering with some hard data, showing us that it's more than just a feeling. Yeah, that powerful emotion, it's not just in your head. There are clear, measurable reasons why this bond feels so uniquely strong. In this explainer, we're going to break down the science behind why our dogs often hold a place in our hearts that rivals and sometimes, even surpasses our human relationships. So there was this pretty groundbreaking study out of Hungary that put this whole thing under a microscope. And what they found, honestly, it's pretty stunning. For a whole lot of owners, the relationship they have with their dog actually ranks higher in satisfaction and emotional fulfillment than their relationships with friends, partners, and even some family members. And this really is the heart of it, isn't it? Our relationships with people, as amazing as they can be, they're complicated. They come with baggage, misunderstandings, and conflict. But the dog relationship, it's just so refreshingly simple. It's built on a foundation of pure affection and support, almost completely free of all that negative stuff that can wear us down. So, if this bond we have with dogs is so unique, what does it actually look like? Well, the study found this really striking parallel. Turns out the whole structure of our relationship with our dogs is incredibly similar to the one between a parent and a young child. And you can see why this dynamic just works. We provide the care, the food, the love. We get to fulfill that deep need to nurture something. And in return, our dogs are completely dependent on us, which creates this incredible affection. But here's the absolute key. Dogs give us all the joy of caregiving without the really complex challenges and conflicts that can come with raising human children. It's like getting all the best parts of that parent-child bond with almost none of the friction. Okay, but here's something really important to get straight. This isn't about dogs replacing people. The research makes that super clear. In fact, what they found was that people who already have strong social circles, good friends, close family, they also tend to have the strongest bonds with their dogs. So the big takeaway here is dogs aren't a substitute. They're an enhancement. They add this whole other amazing layer of positive connection to our lives. All right, so we've got this super strong bond. It's kind of like a parent-child thing, but why? What are the actual ingredients that make it so powerful? Well, researchers basically boiled it down to 3 special ingredients, and once you hear them, it all just clicks. So this is it. This is the recipe for that perfect bond. First, you've got reliable, unwavering companionship. They are just always there. Second, you have the opportunity for caregiving, which feels deeply, deeply rewarding. And third, you have a relationship with almost zero conflict. It's that magic combo, It's pretty much a formula for a perfect, low-stress emotional connection. Okay, so that's the theory, right? It sounds good, makes a lot of sense, but what does the actual data say? Does it hold up when you really start asking people to compare their dogs to, other people? And this wasn't some tiny survey. They talked to 717 people about their relationships with their dogs, their closest relatives, their partners, their best friends. And they got into everything, from affection and intimacy all the way to conflict. And the results are just wild. Look at this chart on companionship. When you look at things like who's a reliable ally, who gives you that constant reassurance, dogs actually scored higher than best friends and even close relatives. It's data that backs up that feeling of having a true partner who's always, always in your corner. But this is where things get really, really interesting. When they asked about negative stuff, conflict, arguments, antagonism, dogs scored so much lower than almost every human relationship, especially romantic partners. I mean, this chart just says it all, right? A huge part of the appeal is the wonderful, beautiful lack of drama. Now, of course, it wasn't a total slam dunk for the dogs. The researchers were fair, and they did find one area where human partners, not surprisingly, came out on top, and that was intimacy.
But in pretty much every other category of support and companionship, our dogs were right there at the top of the list. So, what does this all mean when you put it together? Well, it paints a really clear picture. That intense love you feel for your dog, it's not just you being a big softie. It's a legitimate, powerful, and structurally unique relationship that gives us huge emotional benefits. And I think the researchers themselves put it perfectly. They concluded that dogs aren't just pets, but that, and I'm quoting here, they're emotional partners who add significant value to our well being. In a world that's getting more and more complicated, they give us a simple, pure form of connection. And that just leaves us with one last question to chew on, doesn't it? If the things we value most in our dogs are that unwavering support, that reliable companionship, and that near total lack of conflict, what does that say about what we're all really looking for, and maybe what we should try to create more of in our relationships with each other?